A minute ago. Oh, no, I think she logged right in.
The public comment. All right. Good morning, everybody. Get started. This is a regular meeting of Board of Navigation and Canal Commissioners, Wilson County Navigation District, Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, at 9 a.m., 400 West Hidalgo, Suite 200, Raymondville, Texas. Public notice is given that the commission may go into an executive session at any time during the meeting to discuss matters listed on the agenda when authorized to do so by the provisions of Section 418.183 or Chapter 551 of the Texas Governmental Code. In the event the commission elects to go into an executive session regarding any agenda item, the presiding officer will publicly announce the section or sections of the Texas Governmental Code authorizing the executive session. First item on the agenda is review and consideration of previous meeting minutes. Yes, two meetings.
Move to accept.
Motion made by Commissioner Kendrick, second by Commissioner Cavazos. All in favor?
Yeah.
All opposed? Motion carried. Public comment, Holly?
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, thank y'all once again for what you guys do. I appreciate you and just want to work together with you. I'm here to bring up an issue of what we feel like is harassment for the municipality. On October 19th, 2025, we were having a meeting at the Chamber of Commerce, and around 5 o'clock, we noticed some of our people started exiting. And so they were being issued these abandoned vehicle stickers. So we know that we had a full meeting. We had a lot of people there. But just to speak to the issue, it was our last meeting on incorporation. And some of our cars were marked with orange parking violation stickers. There are no signs indicating any parking restrictions in the area. I took pictures of it. And it feels like a targeted attempt to disrupt our meeting and intimidate us. Since it's only happened to our meeting attendees, and moving forward, I would like to know, in the event we have our meeting somewhere, are we going to be targeted and harassed by the navigation district police? I mean, obviously you can't, it's not an abandoned vehicle. There was a meeting there from 4 to 6. But we saw the officer driving around taking pictures of people's cars in the parking lot. And then the next thing we know, people are sticking these stickers on there, so they want to address that with, Constable Mays or whatever he is. Also want to know, can you confirm or deny what the queuing yard will be used for and dispel the rumors of its intended purpose? If you have any information on that, we'd like to know if y'all would share it with us and tell us what it's really going to be used for, because there's a lot of people in town that are hearing things and saying that it's not going to be used for container barge port. And that's fine with us. I mean, that's preferably not something that we would like to have in town. But if you do know what it's going to be used for, please share it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, discussion possible action regarding recent efforts to petition legislature for a reduction of the WCND boundaries.
That would make sense. Excuse me. Was that the end of the public comment?
Yeah.
Did you?
You didn't sign up for it, so. Sorry.
This item put on the agenda because there's a plan going out that has already made its way to the county judge and the state senator. And I want to ask where this plan came from and who is the author.
That's came from me. I've already met with the judge. He knows that this is not anything to do with the navigation board and made that very clear to him. And, so that's it.
So I also met with a judge, and my concern in meeting with him, and you and I had this discussion, is that he said that when you were asked if the navigation district was in favor, you said yes.
No, it's not true.
Okay, I know we talked about that, but that's the judge's understanding.
I did meet with the judge after that, before I left out of town, and I made it very clear that that was not what was said.
Because I know Mr. Hinojosa left, according to the judge, perception is perception. Mr. Hinojosa left with the understanding or the knowledge or misunderstanding that the navigation was in favor of this.
No, that was never even mentioned.
So as an item on the agenda, I think, and thank you, Stacy, for bringing that up because
I'm gonna get it out in the open.
yeah, exactly. So I know outside the meetings, we'll make comments, we have our personal opinions, we have those kinds of things. But in governance, if it's not on an item on the agenda and we don't vote on it, it does not represent Willacy County Navigation.
You're exactly correct.
With that said, I just want to go on record to say, and I know I made some comments after a meeting as an individual. I'm an elected official. I represent my precinct. And I am, I am steadfast on continuing port commerce, maybe not a big container project, but sensible port commerce. And that's what we're going to do. So, my constituents, because they've been asking me, and I said, we're continuing with the strategic plan. That has not changed. And until we meet again and review the strategic plan and change it, that is our course of action. And that is what the commission decided, and that's what it's on the books, and that's what our statutory regulations and authority says, and we're going to continue that. For the record, I just want to say, if I'm hearing that somebody's saying that the commission, that someone's speaking for the commission, that is wrong.
Absolutely.
That is wrong.
I agree with you.
Or even going out there and saying that we were notified before anything was sent out. We weren't notified. I was not notified.
Well,
I saw this like everybody else did.
yeah, and
On
I'll
social media.
take the hit for that. I didn't handle that part right. So I did talk with Commissioner Trevino, and I assumed, and I shouldn't have done that. So
But still, even though you're doing this on your own, you still represent the navigation district. You're still the chairman. So going out and you're still kind of speaking for us. Like, I don't feel like this is,
speaking for y'all.
Didn't go to anybody but precinct 3.
It just
but it went to the state senators aware of this and so was the judge. So yeah, no, it went further.
Research.
Yeah, but none of your constituents or yours. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, the petition that we put out went to precinct 3, Fort Mansfield. That's the only place it went. And the only thing that was done was to make sure that the residents and the property owners of Port Mansfield were in favor of doing this. If they're not in favor of doing it, we won't do it. This has still got a long ways to go. And there's other hurdles that we're gonna have to go through to get it done. So our job as commissioners, we still have a job to do for the next year and a half. And so right now, this hasn't affected anybody else's precincts other than precinct 3.
I mean, I don't agree with it. And I don't support
Okay.
it. And I never will, because the navigation district it belongs to our taxpayers. It belongs to the taxpayers. It doesn't belong to one precinct or one group of people. This belongs to the taxpayers. And I don't agree with restructuring it, and the navigation district isn't broken. It doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be protected and supported. That's what we need to do. We need to work together. And I know that we can. Instead of trying to, I feel like this is how I feel. Of course, personally, I feel like you're just going behind us and trying to break down what we've built over 70 years. And I honestly believe that throughout the 5 of us, and you ran on the ticket, you ran on transparency and accountability. And to me, this doesn't show that. This doesn't show transparency. It doesn't, because you're doing this behind. You didn't come to us. You should have come to this board or come to us and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. We might not agree on things here, but at least it was brought here and we were able to discuss it and we were aware. It looks bad. It looks wrong when it's coming from you. And I don't agree with it.
I'd like to add a little thing to that. I get around this county quite a bit, Eric. I do. And ever since we started trying to bring in business to the port, I've been bombarded in regards to, hey, Lefty, what kind of jobs are you trying to bring? Are we going to have? To me, it was a promising thing. It's like going into the horizon and seeing the sunrise, because I'm a lifelong resident of Willis County. I do a lot for my county, and I'm so glad to be on the board. I'm on other boards, but I see this as a very promising thing. People ask me, we need jobs. Then when we came out with this, we're not perfect. By all means, we're not perfect. Whether it's container barges, whatever. But I think it's like I asked that gentleman from Marine Time, the text doc, if Port Mansfield was a diamond in the rough, and he said yes. He said yes. That's a positive thing, And I think we should pursue this in a positive way. We should listen to the constituents. We should listen to the people in Port Mansfield and work together instead of bickering. Oh, when I go to Port Mansfield, I get an earlobe, and I have no problem with that. I'm a big boy, and I think we should just work together, and I think we have, But the thing is that the judge did call me. He called me and asked me, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I met with him, but the thing is that maybe it was a misunderstanding or whatever it was. Let's pursue this in a positive way, guys. I mean, let's work together. But I am with Stacy. I think that we should continue this, because I represent 2 of the largest precincts, and we need jobs. And I think that Port Mansfield, but I also want to keep Port Mansfield what it is today. One of the best fishing communities in the state of Texas, and I'm thinking the United States. We can accomplish all of that together.
And,
That's all I
and,
have to say.
and I feel like we have two people representing Port. We have two Port members on this board. I feel like we can honestly work together. We're a highly educated board between all of us with our experience, our education. I think we could all work together and come up with a plan that supports both Port Mansfield and Willacy County. I honestly do believe that. You know, you ran with that, the transparency, accountability. You wanted to see it at this table. You're here. And what have you seen? Is there anything shady deals going in the back? Have you seen anything going on? Is there anything? Right? Because there's not. And I honestly believe we could move forward and work together. I do. Steve, I feel like you represent Port Mansfield the same way. You could bring whatever you bring. We might not agree on things, but at least we could bring it here and work and bring transparency and let our constituents, our taxpayers know what's going on. Bring it to the table. There's something you feel like we're doing, bring it the exact same way that I'm doing it.
Well,
Bring it to the table.
in all honesty, it's not about what the board's doing. I mean, we have a goal that some form of commerce that everybody can shake hands with.
Yeah.
Okay? The last episode wasn't it. That's history. It's gone.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we're smarter and wiser now.
Yeah,
I
I agree. I
But
agree.
the issue is the people at Port Mansfield, our community is divided. Okay? You would not have a Willacy County Navigation District if there was no Port Mansfield. Let's be honest. Okay? I'm not saying that they should rule the roost, but I'm saying that you can't take a community and destroy it. So this option of shrinking geographically the district is an option that may be able to save our community. And if it saves our community, it saves the county, because the county gets a lot of revenue out of Port Mansfield. I've heard on this board numerous times about, well, my constituents pay taxes. What are they getting out of it? For 70 years they paid. What are they getting out of it? Well, you know what? They can get the same thing on a reduced board as they get right now, except they don't have to pay taxes. That's a pretty good plus, right? They still get to go and fish and recreate and do whatever they're doing as of today. And like Eric said, it'd take at least 3 years. The legislature doesn't meet for a year and a half. Then can you get it on the docket? Who knows? Then can you get support behind it? Who knows? Then will the governor sign it? Who knows? Okay? So,
In the meantime, we still got a job to do.
yeah, we still have to act as a board, all five of us.
And it
I
is,
think we do that pretty well.
and it is that job that we will continue doing. And the message that I've given is, yeah, we've been taxed for 70 years. We've made a huge investment in this thing. We're not going to give it away. Why? Because,
Who would you be giving it to?
well, let me talk. So we're not going to give it away because the voters at that time voted to create the navigation district with the idea that it was going to create economic development for the area, and not only the area, but South Texas in general, because there's a ripple effect. So as long as I am a commissioner, I'm going to pursue maintaining that aspect of it.
You think-
And if it comes to the day that the voter says, you know what, I'm okay with that. But until
they
then,
no,
and
don't offer them that.
and what we're
done, even if we that was to come to petition, which you know that's a long shot. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Your people, your constituents, yours and yours, would still have the same opportunity to get a job at Port Mansfield if and when we have commerce.
Yeah.
We're not going to say, oh, well, y'all aren't paying taxes anymore. You can't have this good paying job. They can have it.
I hear what you're saying, Stephen. I'm not arguing with that. All I'm saying here is it is still a navigation district. I'm still a commissioner for Precinct 4. I'm pursuing the strategic plan that we agreed upon, and it's time to review that. And consensus and majority rules. That's the way democracy works.
Exactly.
And we have to pursue those goals. And if that changes, the structure changes down the line, so be it. But until then, that's who we are and that's what we support. So on the, and I know this is an action item, not only we need to take action, I just want to go on record saying I'm supporting continuing the port commerce piece. What that looks like, I don't know, but we're working on that so that we can bring economic development to our area.
And I think we all agree with
Yeah,
that.
and we can do both. It's not one or the other. We can do both sensibly and responsibly.
I don't think anybody has any issue with that.
Exactly.
One of the things that you mentioned is that the 70 years that the other taxpayers have been paying into Port Mansfield.
Mhm.
I get that. But you also got to realize that the majority of the money that's in Fort Mansfield comes from Port Mansfield. Property owners and the taxpayers and the voters that live in Port Mansfield put way more investment in that property than anybody else ever has.
Well, it's a shared responsibility.
It is.
It is.
Okay.
Again, Stacy, thank you for putting that in.
Yeah.
We wanted to air it out. And I think takeaway here, Eric, for you is if you want to represent us as you're doing your Sherman thing, put things on the item on the agenda so we can vote on it and we can say, yeah, that is our message. Okay.
Got it. Any other comments? Let's move on.
There'd be no action on that.
No action. Consideration and action on a resolution affirming the support of the WCND economic development and initiatives for port development. I think we just pretty much covered that.
Yeah, well, and this is an example of practicing governance the correct way.
Yeah.
So practicing governance, in my experience, is you put a resolution that says, this is what the commission stands for. And again, majority rules. So you give a chance for people to say, what is it? You know, the queuing yard was mentioned. Well, you know, we're looking for investors to come and set up shop. Do we want huge, humongous barges in there? Of course not. Never have, and I don't think never will. But do we want some sensible type of commerce in the area? Then we're gonna look at that. And yes, we've learned lessons, and yes, we're redoing how we're vetting, and it got us some funding for dredging, you know, and we're moving forward. So this resolution speaks to that. Nothing fancy about it. It just so that the elected officials at the state and federal level understand where we stand as it relates to the navigation district. Okay. So do you want to read it? Do you want to?
I'll be my guest.
I think.
And I'll read it if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to read.
You need to read it? It's understandable?
Got one comment.
Yes.
And this goes back somewhat to what we were just discussing.
Okay.
Down here, you have, health and vitality as well as the growth of business in Fort Mansfield through the board's engagement of a public relations firm.
Yes.
You know, we have that now,
Mhm.
okay? But here's my question. In case y'all haven't kept up with the news, there's gonna be an election whether or not Fort Mansfield becomes a municipality, right? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So if they do become a municipality, wouldn't it be a little more on their side to take up this PR to promote the businesses in Port Mansfield as a municipality, the city of Port Mansfield? So all I'm saying, until we know that, which way that's gonna go, I don't know that I can sign on to, because we're pretty much saying that we're gonna have a PR firm in place all the time. If we, I mean, we can get rid of this, another board to get rid of this resolution, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, the resolution doesn't have the force of law. It's just
Right,
a
I understand that, but
statement of policy, but then
also
again,
we're signifying.
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that, the individuals that are promoting, PR get input from, Port Mansfield.
I don't know, I've never seen them out there, but I'm not saying they don't.
No, and the only way to promote Port Mansfield is to talk to the individuals. And I know that they're not gonna talk to every single individual in here, you know? They're gonna talk to people with businesses.
Right.
What do you want? What do you see?
Right.
What
But,
do you
but if
project?
you're a city, wouldn't that be more on the city side responsibility to do that?
Well,
To promote
they-
tourism,
they-
businesses?
Steve, they have that right in terms, now, understand one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Allison, but when we went through this legal review of municipality versus not, it does not dissolve the Willis County Navigation
Absolutely
District.
not. But why
So-
would we want to pay?
Well, because that's, so as Willis County Navigation District pursuing the statutory authority that was granted to us by the state legislature, we want to promote that. One way of doing it, I mean, advertising is step one of any successful business. So we want to promote navigation district message, goals, vision, and mission. The municipality can do whatever they want to and promote their whatever. That's their business. And I have no quarrel with that. I'm talking about as a commissioner, as a commission, this speaks to that. Now, if tomorrow we're not here, the existing commission decides to change the resolution, so be it. That's the way governance works. That's the way that works. But for now, and there has been a ton of positive feedback from the stories and the correct information about the port, its creation, how it came. I even learned a couple of things myself that I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that one. But the research about that is putting the work in a neutral sense of who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it.
I think we all understand that, and I don't have a problem with that, but the point, I mean, that's fine if all we're gonna do through our PR is to try and attract industry or commercial product.
And that's what
That's fine.
this is.
Nothing about anything with inside the community, about restaurants, about nothing else. We don't want any of that on our page because that's their responsibility should they win.
Should they win? But for now, it is our responsibility to help the local
All I was
businesses.
saying was maybe we could wait and see and have this on the next meeting.
No, I think we need to move on it forward right now because it sets the stage, sets the tone of, again, majority rules in terms of this is the message, this is what we're doing with economic development, this is our purpose, and this is the direction I would just, are we all gonna agree with it? Maybe not. I'm hoping that it is because it's a pretty neutral standard resolution, but you have your right to vote against it if you want to. Not a problem. So with that said, we don't need to read it, right? Or do we need to?
No, or you can.
Y'all want it read?
Go ahead.
I'll read it.
So I think it should
Go
be.
ahead.
Give me a minute. This is resolution number 003-2025. A resolution of the Board of Navigation and Canal Commissioners of the Willacy County Navigation District affirming its support of economic development initiatives for the advancement of port development while preserving Port Mansfield community quality of life. Whereas Board of Navigation and Canal Commissioners of the Willacy County Navigation District, the Board of Willacy County, Texas, pursuant to Texas constitutional and statutory authority, have been granted the constitutional and statutory authority to exercise powers essential to accomplish the purpose of Section 59, Article 11?
16.
Yeah, whatever that is. I haven't read Roman numerals in a while.
I have to put a 16.
He wrote it down. Texas Constitution, including those essential to own, operate, and develop Port Mansfield as a navigation and port authority serving public use and benefit to include constructing, maintaining, and improving waterways, harbors, and related infrastructure to facilitate navigation, commerce, and recreation. And whereas the board, in alignment with Article 16, Section 59 of the Texas Constitution and its provisions regarding conservation and development of natural resources, finds the responsible economic development is a valid, legitimate governmental initiative that serves the best interests of Port Mansfield community, its taxpayers, and its visitors. And whereas the board recognizes that Port Mansfield and its resources represent an opportunity to positively impact the economic status of Willacy County, South Texas, and the area identified as having high poverty and low socioeconomic opportunity. And whereas the board seeks to encourage and promote reasonable, responsible economic development activities designed to support existing businesses and to recruit businesses that are consistent with the goals and values of Willis County Navigation District, as outlined in the board-approved strategic plan, focused areas, and comprehensive land use plan, as well as zoning and development regulations. And whereas the board finds that a critical component of its overall economic development effort is to promote and support health and vitality as well as growth of business in Port Mansfield through the board's engagement of public relations firm. And whereas the board embraces a full economic development tools and application of same, ranging from public financial assistance funding through state and federal funds, land use permitting, and utility infrastructure development. And whereas the board is united in seeking the best public outcomes for the WCND Port Mansfield and the entirety of Willacy County and the communities. And whereas the board determines that the adoption of this resolution is reasonable and necessary to reaffirm the enhanced cooperation, improve clarity of purpose, facilitate a shared vision, prioritize projects worthy of public incentives, encourage a process for shared information and decision making, and achieve general alignment with those concerned. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Navigation District, Willacy County, Texas. Section 1, recitals above are found to be true and correct, and hereby adopted and made part of purpose of findings of fact. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that the meeting at which this resolution is passed was open to the public as required by public notice at the time and place, and the purpose of said meeting was given as required by the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Local Government Code. Section 3, the resolution shall take effect immediately from and after its passage. Duly resolved and adopted by the Willis County Navigation District.
To change it to
The County of Willacy, 15th day, October 2025.
Yeah, that would be a change of date on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I move that we accept this resolution.
Second,
All right, motion's been made by Commissioner Trevino, second by Commissioner Cavazos. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, discussion on possibly contracting with a specific real estate agency to promote the Newport subdivision.
Brought to me by Commissioner Kendrick. It's an excellent idea, I believe, in that there are half a dozen or so full-time real estate agents in the Port Mansfield area. We've already said that they would be able to earn a commission from the whole process, but we're kind of seeking the opportunity for one, or preferably one of those agents and or agencies to grab the bull by the horns and represent the Newport subdivision and help promote that idea locally throughout the valley, wherever they think it's appropriate. And just have somebody come in and give us a presentation on what they think they can do that'll help us out. And then we can work out a relationship as far as what we are willing to accommodate that real estate agent for doing all the work. I've talked to two, I think Letty's talked to one of the agents about the possibility of doing this. I invited them to come to today's meeting. There's none of them here today, so I would just recommend we table it for now and try in the future to get somebody.
So what's the process for selection, Ron? What are we putting it out there and saying, hey, we want to pick a realtor to represent us, and if you're interested, submit your
Basically,
name.
that's what we've done to this.
Yeah, we don't want to, we've discussed this and we don't want to just pick pick a realtor and say, okay, we want you to
No, we don't wanna
represent
do
the
that.
property, and then the other realtors get offended by
Exactly.
that. So
That's why we're asking.
it's not an easy process when you have,
Presented.
I don't know how many real estate or real agents we have in Port,
Yeah.
5 or 6.
It's like 6 on it.
So we want to make it fair.
So in making it fair, have we made it public, announced, put a flyer saying, hey?
We have
you're
nothing to
interested?
flyer yet. We've just been doing it by communication because Lefty talks on the phone every day.
Yeah, but that,
We just did make it public.
yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I, when you're gonna solicit for quotes and all of that, you post.
Absolutely.
So have we posted so
Yes,
that,
yeah.
I mean, if Letty didn't talk to me and I'm a realtor, I'm gonna get angry because Letty.
Yeah, and we want to make it fair.
Put a letter and gave Ron a list
Yeah.
of
Realtors.
realtors that are active in Willoughby County and
Right.
Port Mansfield in particular.
Particularly.
Okay, so all we have to do is mail that agency a copy of that letter, and it states in there, look,
What we're
We're
looking,
looking for,
bring your plan to the board and let the board hear the plan, and we'll try and pick the best plan we think suits us.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to put any criteria that might.
and they may have a better idea than we do.
sure,
Yeah.
and that's doable,
Absolutely.
but it.
Well, and there's going to
go
be future
everybody.
in the future, there's going to be other properties that we're going
Yeah,
to have.
exactly. So has that letter gone out to
No,
all
it has
the
not.
realtors?
So,
And it hasn't gone out because,
just we haven't had the opportunity to do it. We will get it out here soon, but,
so, I mean,
but we have talked to all the realtors. We just have not sent a formal letter to them.
okay, so again, transparency is
Yes, sir.
critical. If Steve took the time to
Absolutely.
assemble this list of all realtors and gave it to you to share out and it didn't happen, yet we have an item on the agenda, that doesn't look good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was implied that some of them were going to come.
Yeah, so can we do that
Sure.
ASAP? Send that out and maybe not only to Willis, but to any, and Willis and post that on the website.
Yeah.
But for sure, send it to that list that Steve
Sure.
put together
Certainly.
and then have them present at the next meeting. And I mean, but that needs to happen if that's, because this is not the first time we talk about this.
Mhm.
And time is passing and opportunities to sell these properties and do that is passing. We need to
there's-
move on.
How many lots are left? We've sold 13.
No, it's 16, right? Yeah, 16 out of the original 47.
Then we refund some.
Only one.
Anyway,
All right.
I make a motion that Ron send out this letter to the list and ask them to appear at our next scheduled meeting.
Yeah, if they have an interest.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Kendrick.
And can we also add that we post that on our website as well?
Yeah.
In addition to the letter?
Second.
Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Second by Commissioner Cavazos. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Port Director's report.
Got a couple items. The first one has actually changed since I originally wrote this down. The Corps of Engineers has tentatively, well, they've received all the bids and had tentatively assigned somebody to start the dredging project. But the bid was at a point where they felt that it was too high for them to do the dredging and also do the breakwater or the area, the containment area to hold the material. So since then, since this was originally drafted, the Corps has identified and they're already there, barges full of rock that they're going to be installing so that there'll be an area to store the sediment so that it doesn't drift back into the channel as easily. So that apparently that project has actually found additional funding because the original $20 million appeared not to be sufficient to do all the project as they wanted to do it. But now they've started doing the rock work. So that appears to me, I haven't talked to them directly since the barges arrived, but it appears to me they did find the actual money they needed to get that done.
Where the barges are at right now,
Mhm.
I was under the impression that the retaining area that they were going to put in was going to be north
North
of
of Bird Island.
Bird Island.
It's on the south
Barges
side.
are south
South side.
Yeah.
and they're putting rocks around Benny's Cut.
Yeah, I believe they're gonna try to find an additional storage area for material. the last they discussed with me was only Bird Island, but they said they had other ideas and they didn't know how they were gonna address that. So that may be how they came up with extra funding, was identify another spot, but they haven't discussed that with me.
I think, I don't know for sure, but I always heard that Benny's Island was a historical site, or I don't know if some of the old folks might know about that.
Yeah, that's a-
But we don't have a say in what
And
they,
that's
No.
what the board
and I'm
does.
sure they, yeah,
They put the material where they want to put it. So.
okay.
But they are still scheduled to be here
They are.
this winter.
No,
It should be the first, they've actually broken the project into two phases, but the first phase is to occur this winter. Then they'll take a break over the summer because of the birds and the turtles and all the things that happen in the spring and summer. And then they'll finish up the project next year. But the initial dredging at the cut is supposed to take place this winter, yes. I'm gonna jump down to the next item, or the third item on my list, which is discussion on some developments that we're having in the Eastport subdivision central island area. What I mean by that is the area in the center here, this subdivision. Apparently, when the easements were drawn, AEP put an additional 10 foot of utility easement on the backside of the property, which typically I wouldn't think was too big of an issue. But what it comes down to, and this is you guys have a copy in your folder. But basically what it comes down to is they have our typical 5 foot easement on each side, but on the back, the navigation district placed a 10 foot easement because that's where the water main for that whole section of town runs through. We could probably adjust that slightly, but then it appears that AEP put an additional 10 feet of a right of way on top of it because of the electrical wires. Well, by doing that, they created a 20 foot easement on the back of this property, and we require 15 foot for house setback on the other side. So now they've lost 35 foot of an 80 foot lot that they can't build on. Huge problem because the lots are tiny in the first place, and to limit that is a concern. So I've already talking to AP, trying to get AP to take their 10 foot easement on. Hopefully they will. They're usually pretty cooperative, but I don't know that yet. That will tremendously fix this, assist us in this problem. The other solution would potentially be, instead of saying that Robinson Road is the front of those houses, to say that the other roads is the front of the houses. It's fine. I think that's an easy solution. However, by doing that, all the meters are on this side for the utility service to the house. It's not a problem having meters in the alley. The problem is how far those meters are in from the back wall. Because we could go to our traditional 5, 5, and 5, and they could easily build on these lots, and this would be their driveways. They could pour their driveway over the top of an easement because they get broken into about once every 10 years at the most. So theoretically, the easy solution is going to be to invert this and let this be the back of the houses, and the front would be here. But until AEP tells me what they're willing to do, that's why it's not an action item today. I'm not presenting this. I'm just offering you some ideas of where we're at. And this is a new development we've had 2 people want to put building permits in the last month. And both of them, I can't really approve them because there's no setback space. And one of them wants to put a boat barn / barndominium pond building there, which is no problem, but the trailer that they have is 65 feet long. And they
Hey,
can't put the trailer.
I have a question though.
Yes.
So when was this easement granted to AEP?
Apparently when the original plans were drawn, but I never saw it before.
Well, but it's our property, right?
It is correct.
So since it's our property, we grant easements because we have the property interest, we own the feed. So my question is, when did that happen? When was this
Don't know.
granted?
When I got here, that apparently was already there. I don't think I ever noticed that double dotted line that's in that drawing until in the last month when somebody brought it.
Nobody can grant anything for this. We,
I've actually had people come by and talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So
what?
This is big.
I live right across the street from this.
Yeah, and people are starting to ask questions about it, and it's a legitimate concern because they have such a tiny footprint left after that. So
Well, my question is, how does AEP purport? And I apologize, I don't mean to take up
Yeah, no.
go ahead.
the commissioners, but if AEP is purporting that they've got an easement, how'd they get it?
Correct.
Because you got to grant an easement, and
That was-
first, the entity that grants the easement is the owner of the fee, and we're the owner of the fee. So how'd they get that easement?
Correct. And that's the question I asked them the other day when I talked to them. So hopefully they'll come back and give me a direct answer that I can provide.
So if we grant it, can can we remove it?
Well, we didn't know. Granted, okay,
Well, if we're the only entity that can grant,
uh-huh.
can we remove?
Well, if we didn't grant it in the first place, then there's no easement. Now, if we did grant it, if somehow it did get granted,
Mhm.
then it operates under contract law. And we would have to look at whether or not the easement can be revoked, how it can be revoked, how it can be modified, what is provided in the instrument of conveyance. So that's all something we'd have to look at how to do. But my question is, was it even granted in the first place? And I'm not seeing where that happened.
No, nor have I. And that's why I asked them to provide us proof of what they.
One of these maps is dated 2004.
Mhm.
2004.
Yeah. Yeah. Last was probably better than mine.
I mean, it's possible that when we platted it, we granted a utility easement.
Mhm.
But right now, I just don't know.
But all those, there are no electrical poles, everything's underground.
If it's there, it's underground. That's right.
Well, on the Eastport side, there's electrical overhead.
Right on the.
Yeah.
On the opposite side.
Far side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really don't understand why it's there. So that's why I asked AP to see if they could clarify why it's there and where it came from.
And when do you think we're gonna get a response from?
They're usually pretty prompt. I usually hear from them within a week to 10 days,
When did you talk to them?
Monday. And there's a gentleman with this lot and he wants to get the one next to it so he can put the boat in at an angle. So he can put the full length of his trailer into space.
Mhm.
But he doesn't want to commit to the properties until we figure out what's going to happen with.
It's one of a lot of those lots for sale over there right now.
That's right. They can't build.
People have figured out they couldn't build on them.
Correct.
Well, that's an easy fix, like you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Reverse it?
Yeah.
I agree with Allison, we need to,
Oh, no, we need
give
it.
us a copy of that easement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or when was it granted? It might have been granted.
They've gone to 2000.
Laid out, or, yeah,
Yeah.
it just depends. If you say it's from 2004, somehow I thought it was more recent than.
Everything with that subdivision is quite old.
Okay, well, it's possible it was granted by plat, dedicated by plat. I just would need to see the plat.
Sure.
I mean, that's a copy of it, but I don't see any dedicatory language that supports a grant of easement. So we can talk to AEP and figure it out and maybe get them to scale it back, hopefully.
So if they remove that, we're okay?
We should be okay then. But
So that's
a
plan A.
almost a 21-foot easement on the side. It's a huge.
But if they remove that 10,
We could
we,
actually work.
do we
with
still
them.
need to reverse the front and back?
I think it's probably a good idea to do it
Do it
anyway,
Anyway,
because a lot of these are gonna do pull throughs anyways, irrelevant. But the
Okay.
point is when they build the house, where do they
Sure.
situate it?
sure.
The guy yesterday's like, why don't you just give me a less than a 15-foot setback? Let me come back at 10 feet. I'm like, we can't do that because then the whole street, the houses are doing this because everybody wants a different depth. How we need to set the
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah, you make
No.
it standard.
No. I'd rather reverse it if we need to
Correct.
than start changing.
Correct.
Make it a standard.
Yep.
Okay.
Last one, actually, I'm gonna let Allison see what she's come up on. That's the one about the difference between. Well, I mean, do you have any opinion on how we should pursue that? Here's what's generally happened. In 2022, when they were working on the queuing yard, all those cool looking little cones, concrete columns that were out there, 42 of them. The company who put them in apparently didn't have much experience with that, it appears now. And they installed them according to what the engineers told them to do and what the environmental company on site watched them do. But when the company that's there now, Russell Marine, went in to expose them so they could tie into those posts, they had collapsed part of them. And so there's an installation issue. And so the question that's currently pending is, do we let the original installer come back and fix his error? Or do we let the company that's on site now fix the problem. Because they're concerned about warranty issues if they let the outside contractor come in and do the work.
So what's that gonna cost us?
Well, theoretically, it shouldn't
That's the
cost. us
bottom
anything.
line, you know.
Correct. Oh, no, I agree. That's why I was,
Yeah.
the main thing that my biggest concern is, like you said, the cost up front. We have, I'm sure, lots of legal avenues from insurance claims, the whole 9 yards on how we could get the monies back. But
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was, well,
And we're talking about
when was the
the
bond?
big queuing yard, not
That's correct. The main
not
unit.
phase two.
yeah, no.
So I don't see the original contractor's bond,
Okay, I'm good for it.
any of the files, so that's where I would start. I mean, first of all, have it go through their responsibilities, have them fix it. I agree with having the original fix it. If we have to,
Mhm.
But we don't want to pay for it and then try to get our money back.
No, no.
We're gonna be in the hole far enough on this
Correct.
deal as it is.
Correct. So then the emphasis shifts to then how does the new contractor and a new engineer warranty the work since they
Yeah.
aren't confident in the work that was done?
Did they have to have a bond or anything when they did that or?
Yeah, they did. They had a bond.
Mhm.
They had a bond and had
Yeah,
insurance.
they
Yeah,
do.
so
So we go after that.
Doesn't it?
that
Engineering.
would be my
firm also
suggestion.
have
Yes.
A little play in that.
If they made the mistake, they fix it.
Seeing it.
Correct. Yeah, but they didn't know those things that were buried in the ground, whether they were properly installed.
well, I think we need to go at that avenue first.
Yeah.
Letting the previous contractor fix his mistake rather than us having to pay for it and try to get our
Mhm.
money back.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
I agree with you.
Yep.
Who was that original contractor?
Things Reiner Construction.
Are they local or?
They're from the valley.
Real, they're
We need to get their contract and review it. Did that.
That's gonna put everything
Why
on
are they
hold.
just now finding this?
Well, they found, that's where that dig out was done about a month and a half ago. That's
Yeah.
when they thought, uh-oh, this doesn't look right. And they started digging it all out. And so then they sent proposals to, they sent evidence to the engineering firm. Engineering firm looked at it, oh my God, it's so horrible. We can't do anything with that. The Russell Marine said, we can come up with ideas to utilize what's there. But the engineers are like, well, we don't think that's good enough. So then they've been back and forth and now it's where we are. But there's working on the west yard now. It's not like the work stopped, just they haven't been able to finish the first yard. Because
I was wondering why they wasn't working over
Yeah.
there.
So can we move on that and get
oh, no, yeah.
that going ASAP?
Yeah, we did.
Everybody's already been notified of the situation.
Hey, TxDOT, everybody knows about it. Everybody is, because TxDOT invested the first 700,000 and put those 42 pilings in the first place. So I made sure they were told immediately, hey, you're funding 2 projects and one of them looks like there was a glitch. So there's going to be a hiccup in this process for several weeks. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Those hadn't been there that long.
They've been there since 2022.
Yeah. I mean, we just finished that. All right. Any more discussion on that?
No.
Okay. Review and discussion on building authorizations issued for the month of September 2025. Don't have any questions. All right, next, review and consideration of residential commercial transfer leases, both stall leases, transfers and collateral transfer of lease.
All new commercial transfers, the people getting them understand that it is a commercial
Yes.
property.
Yes.
We're not gonna see houses being built on that, right?
Well, some of them are the ones that are in areas such as Eastport subdivisions is a commercial lease, but it's also for residential purposes.
Just curious. And you may not have the answer to this, why was Eastport considered commercial?
All properties that touch the harbor by legislation are commercial.
That's a question.
But we did change that, the lease fee to residential.
Yeah.
In our workshop, we changed it.
To be
Fair.
fair across.
Right.
Yes.
Kevin Paul, guys.
Okay.
Right, we need a motion. Whenever y'all ready.
Move that we accept the residential lease transfers as presented.
Second.
Commercial. Motion made by Commissioner Trevino, second by Commissioner Reyes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Review and consideration of checks and vouchers and any discussion and comments on monthly budget report.
What's the status of our cash flow?
We're back, to our. We have more than sufficient cash revenues to cover all of our normal operating expenses, and the line of credit is. Just about at $500,000 in it. That's waiting to be utilized as necessary. The problem is the next invoice is $711,000, so we're waiting for a reimbursement for you. Write the next check.
Oh, I couldn't hear what you say about our line of credit is what?
There's, I think it's 500,000 in the account now that we're paid, reimbursed back, sitting there, so we have that much that's readily available for us to utilize on payments. But the next invoice is 711, and I don't want to borrow against our operating funds anymore. So we're just waiting until we get our reimbursement to make the payment. Plus, you can only make one payment request every 30 days, and we already made one within the last 30 days, so they won't pay it now anyway. So just sitting on it.
So they want you to leave that money in there for 30 days so they can draw interest off of it.
They didn't say that.
That's what they're doing.
They're doing?
Yeah, that's what the state's doing for damn sure.
Yeah.
So what was the amount of that check that we received from TxDOT?
Last one we got back was 1.9.
1.9. Now, see, we paid an invoice for $1,042,000 to Russell.
Correct.
That leaves roughly 700,000.
But we had taken some funds out of operating funds to write that $1.9
Right.
million check. Tom repopulated everything. That's what we're.
The only thing that confuses me is that on the balance sheet, your M and O fund has gone up $275,000, something like that.
That's just from the repayment where we restock the money after we get the repayment back from the city.
First question on Right National Flood Insurance Company, is that for flooding insurance?
Just correct.
Is that for 1 month?
I think it's biannually.
Biannually?
Yeah. Or semi-annual, I'm sorry. Semi.
Because that sounds kind of low. You know,
I'm pretty sure it's an every 6 month.
I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Or insurance premiums that we're paying now to the county.
The employee
health
insurance,
insurance?
yes.
Is that, I guess that's working okay.
I mean, we found a few glitches, but overall, it's not too bad. We have a couple employees that are having a difficult time integrating into the new system, but
Over here, Ron, on this, on the P and L. Says it's miscellaneous revenue, police department.
it's golf cart money mostly.
What?
That
Most of it's golf cart money
They sold the Jeep.
and the Jeep.
Okay, you did sell it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we sent it to San Antonio to a public auction.
Oh,
Yeah, it went to auction and it sold. Locally, we were getting people offering $6,000 and $8,000. It went to auction and sold for over 16,000. So Yeah.
Oh,
And they came and got it.
yeah, and they came and picked it up.
oh, my, what? From June to September, okay, miscellaneous revenue police department, $6,727, if we sold it for
Oh,
16,000.
yeah, then she might not have it in there yet. I'll check with her on that. I don't know that. I can tell you that most of that revenue has come from golf carts, almost all of it.
Now, you have miscellaneous revenue other, 58,000.
Could be where some of it is as well. That could have been where she put the actual police vehicle.
Yeah, I don't like the other. I
Yeah.
like to see a description.
I
I have to see a rundown.
think that's a
Exactly.
good.
So we also have, what's the rent on this
This building, 1,500 a month, I think it is.
So we've got under rent, $3,132. What's that, I'm sorry, that would be, I thought it was for 4 months, but.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But probably a little.
15 times 4, that'd be 6,000,
6,000.
somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
something in
we
code.
may not have made the last payment yet. It's the next quarterly payment.
Well, and the PUD pays part of that.
And PDD pays for half of everything.
Publicity and promotion. Got anything?
Bless you.
No, we're not doing grapefruits anymore, so.
We're not doing what?
Grapefruits.
Any grapefruits, that's the standing joke. You send grapefruits to the capital.
Professional fees that's part of the engineering.
Professional fees include engineering and legal.
And did we get any of that back from TxDOT?
Oh, well, we get some of them.
Professional includes legal,
I believe so.
because you got legal fees that.
Do we have a separate one now?
There's a legal fees
Great.
separate.
So, okay. Then anything in the professional is this engineering. Which I think next year's budget thing, I'm gonna be proposing that we consider potentially bringing on an engineer of our own instead of paying these engineering firms to do all this work for us, because we're paying $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 a year for engineering work that we could do ourselves.
You know, I know I asked this before and I apologize, Ron, I don't remember things too well. But over here on our aging report, it says audit. It's out there past
Yeah.
90 for $121,000. What is that? We owe that bill or?
No, it's stuff that the auditors shifted around during their audit process, and that's the way they account for it. But Virginia's asked them twice to come in and clarify that, and they have not done so. So they're in the process of doing an audit right now. I'll make a point myself of insisting they clarify that, because it's their numbers that they created that column themselves.
Yeah, cause it looks kind of weird out there.
Yes.
And then that Russell Marine, $712,000.
That's the next invoice that's due to be paid, 7/11, 7/12. Yeah.
I appreciate you putting it on there.
Yes, sir.
And then the one for 136,000, Cornet,
When it's been paid. Yeah.
that project was completed 2 years ago.
Yeah, but they didn't submit payment requests until about 6-8 months ago. So
And we're just now paying them.
yeah, as soon as we got everything caught up with textile, we were able to cover them. And they were more than willing to do that. So I asked them about it.
Move that we accept the checks and vouchers as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Trevino, second by Commissioner Vastos, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
One quick thing, Ron. About the.
Water collision, they're the ones that do all the upkeep and maintenance on all the police vehicles.
So, do we have an accident or what?
I believe so. Most things that we have is just stuff that just wears out, corrodes, breaks, things of that nature. I don't recall. Oh, no, take that back. We did have an accident. Yeah, we did. We had a navigation district debris truck backed into somebody's pickup truck and did some damage to the door. And that's that. Sorry about that. Forgot about that one. So.
Anything else? All right, we're gonna go into a closed session.
I have a question. Do you still want to do item 10? No, for sure. It kind of ties to.
Yeah, no.
You do?
Mhm.
Good?
Yeah.
Closed session pursuant to section 551.071 Texas Governmental Code for legal advice regarding the distinction between actions taken by a board member in their individual versus official capacities and any implications for the WCND governance. Also, closed session pursuant to section 551.074 Texas Governmental Code for annual evaluation of executive port director and his employment contract with WCND. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Is that on end or?
It's the red button, right?
Click the two things up there, because if you hit the red button, it'll kill the session.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm turning this back
There
on.
you go.
Mhm.
What time is it?
11:40?
11:45. Shit. All right, we're back in open session. It's 11:45. There was action taken. And we need a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the board accepts Ron Mills' resignation as of today.
Second, I second that motion, and we thank Ron Mills for all the work that he's provided, and we wish him well.
All in favor?
Hi.
All opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.
Good start.